Welcome to the Orion Sportscast Podcast, the most refreshing analysis, insight, and opinions in the world of sports. Here are your hosts, Josh Egan and Brandon Waterhouse.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Friday, January 15th. We're 2 days into the NHL season. This is the third day. There was 11 games last night, and there were some doozies out there, but we're going to get to the NHL a little bit later. I'd like to introduce our guest, Matthew Fairclough. Matt, tell us about yourself a little bit. How do you know me? All that good stuff.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Josh. Brandon, it means a lot. So I've known Josh for a long time, maybe too long. Probably 8 years now. We used to play road hockey together. I would beat him, and I was like 9, and he was like 17, so it was a little embarrassing. But
that's not our age difference.
Yeah, so I just remember destroying him. So yeah, anyways, I played 3 years of GTHL AA. Hockey's kind of my favorite sport, I would say. I also like basketball and football, and ready to give some analysis today, boys. Let's go.
All right, so Matt, I'll throw the first question to you. Which NFL division game are you most excited for?
I start?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us which one you want and why.
I'm gonna go for a sneaky one. I feel like Cleveland, Kansas City is the one most people say, but I'll go Green Bay and the Rams.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think they have Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know. You kind of see the trend in the league. Him, Breeze, and Brady, they're kind of getting older, so I just want to see if he can take it. And I think whenever you get the number one scoring defense and number one scoring offense, you're bound to have a good game.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of this game because it's either going to be a really high-scoring game or not, right? Like we could be looking at a 12-9 game, 14-10, or we could be looking at 56-42. I really don't know what to expect. The Rams obviously played last week, so they have momentum, and the Packers had a bye week or an off week because they won their division, but we'll kind of see what happens there. I don't know what to expect from the Rams. The Packers are going to play the way the Packers do, but it's funny you bring up kind of that age of Aaron Rodgers, because we have another game that should be on the History Channel, because we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints, both quarterbacks over the age of 40, and Tom Brady and Drew Brees. Brandon, I'll throw to you on this one. What can we expect out of Tom Brady?
Yeah, so personally, I gambled on Tom Brady on this show, so I got to see him do well. It doesn't mean that I'm a Tampa Bay fan, but I think now it is because I want to see my stuff come through. So I need to see the Packers and the Bucks, but I think for Tampa Bay and Tom Brady to get through the Saints, it's just going to be I think it's going to be time management in terms of how Tom Brady just knows that he's been here before. I mean, sure, Drew Brees is tenured for sure, but Tom Brady, I feel would be a bust this season if it ended right now. So I don't know if he's going to let that happen to his integrity. It's not that he can control everything based off of what he feels, but he has a strong voice in that locker room, and I'm sure he's not going to let this one slide just yet. It's too early for me.
Right. It's definitely one of the more captivating games. I'm kind of surprised it did get the prime time. It's at 6:40 on Fox, which we don't have an 8:40 game this week. They're going with 6:40. I'm not quite sure why there. And then the other game we already talked about, we got Browns and Chiefs. That's at 3:05. So the Saturday games, Rams and Packers, we touched on that. And the last one to round it out, and Brandon, you're repping the Bills shirt today. We got Ravens and Bills. I'm excited for this one. I'm a diehard Bills fan. I'm excited that they've got past the first round of the playoffs, and I think the Ravens are a good matchup for them. The game could be in snow. And Lamar Jackson has been saying all week, he's like, I've never played in snow before. I've never played in snow. And I've seen articles, on the Athletic, Sportsnet, TSN saying the Bills are hoping for, but also not hoping for this snow game. I've been at that new Era Stadium when it was snowing, and it snows like a motherfucker there. It comes in around. It has the lake effect because it's right on the edge of the lake. I was there. Granted, it was a hockey game, but that snow was really coming down.
In the middle of the winter.
And it was in the middle of the winter. It was around the same time, actually. It was probably 2 weeks ago in 2018. So
what hockey game? The World Junior one?
Yeah, that was the Canada-USA outdoor game.
Yeah.
And it took me 45 minutes to dig my car out. My buddy Mike Sotnick was absolutely no help in that, so I'm going to call him out on the show for that. But it was. If it snows there, it is going to really, really snow. But I think the big question everybody has here is, can Josh Allen keep rolling? And Matt, I'll throw to you here. What do you think Josh Allen can do in this game against Lamar Jackson?
Josh Allen's a good player. I mean, like coming out of college, I actually had him last out of the 5 quarterbacks that were playing because it was him, Lamar, Baker, Josh Rosen actually. So
Yeah.
I was definitely wrong on that. Josh hasn't really done anything. But yeah, going back to Josh Allen, like he's stupid good. Just like I was shocked. Like you Bills fans have a quarterback. Like I'll just say that. So if it's snowing, if it's not snowing, I agree with you. I don't think it will affect him per se. I think it'll be more of a affecting Baltimore because, as you said, Lamar Jackson. Not to say he struggles, but definitely the last couple years in the playoffs, it's a little bit of inconsistency. So factor in the snow. They're playing some dogs on defense with Poyer and White and that crew. So I'll go Bills 24-14, no matter what.
Oh, we got a score prediction out that.
I'm going Bills.
I love that. 24-14. 24-14.
But like, don't enjoy it because I think Kansas City's gonna clap you guys. So.
Well, that's what I wanted. That's my next topic of conversation. We'll get to that in just.
Don't get too excited.
Because you seem to know your football pretty well. So I want to ask you this as well, and it's also about a Bills player, Stephon Diggs. The numbers he's put up this season with Josh Allen are unreal. Remarkable. Is this a one-off, or can we expect to see the same thing next season, or is something even more improved?
That's not a one-off. It's the first year together.
Yeah.
They had no camp because of COVID, actually. And I don't think Stephon Diggs was quarantining in Buffalo with his money. So, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, they'll be here for a while. Like, if I'm a Bills fan, I'm happy because this isn't like you saw other teams like Jacksonville a few years ago just kind of ride a defense. But, like, nah, they're here forever. And you look at the division, the Jets, like, no offense to the Jets. I don't know if you guys talk about the draft and stuff.
So we love to talk about the Jets on this show because I just find them hilarious.
Yeah, they're funny over there.
They can't even lose properly, so.
No, they can't. Yeah, so back to the division, like, the Jets are the Jets, basically. New England's probably heading to a rebuild. They don't have a quarterback. And the only competition is really Miami. So, like, no, you Bills fans, you're going to have plenty of years. It's just this is not the year. Patrick Mahomes is too good. And then, yeah, it's fine. This week will be good, though.
You brought up Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
I get where Matt's coming from for sure, but at the same time, what resonates in the back of my head is like, where is Mahomes going to be in the next 5 to 7 years? Like he's going to be right there contending. So I feel like the greatness of, any given Sunday, you know what they say, right? Any given Sunday. I love how it's one game. I think it could be done this year. The Bills could do something because, I mean, just contrary to your point, like, yeah, the Bills, but I think they're always going to be shadowed by the Chiefs. Like Mahomes are the same age kind of thing. So they're going to grow together in this league. So I'm not sure if the Bills are ever going to get a better chance than when they're on a good run.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, yeah. I just think this year it's going to be kind of tough because, like it or not for the Bills fans, it's just kind of the first year of, like, a run. So, like, sometimes you kind of have to lose just to know how to win. That cliche is kind of old, and I don't really like it, but it just felt good in this situation. And, yeah, I just think if it was flipped and Kansas City had to go in Buffalo's barn, I'd probably pick the Bills, but I just don't see Patrick Mahomes losing a home game in the playoffs for the next decade.
Well, that's the thing, and we'll get to you brought up another good point there when you mentioned the Patriots and them going into a rebuild. And this will just be a quick question for you, and then I want to move on to the Browns. But Bill Belichick to Tom Brady, we know that relationship and how everybody kind of thought they led off each other and their greatness was dependent on each other. I don't know where you stood on the side of that before, what's his name? Before Tom Brady left. Where do you stand on that now? Did Belichick rely on Brady? Did Brady rely on Belichick? Did they rely on each other? Do they still rely on each other? What do you think of that one after seeing a full season with them away from each other?
I think they rely on each other 100%. Like it's kind of a fun thing just to talk at like a barbershop or like when you're drinking beers with your buddies. But in reality, like if it was only a 5-year run, I could understand why people said that. But when you do something 20 years deep, it takes everybody. And something that a lot of people don't understand that like don't really think about football, like there's defense, special teams, like as much as Tom Brady helps as the quarterback, there's totally other stuff like drafts, free agencies. So if I had to pick one, I would pick Belichick, to be honest with you. The thing I'll give Tom, though, in all the playoff games, the comeback to Atlanta, he never was wild with the football. He would check down the backs and plays probably the most conservative game. Like, I don't think he's the most talented quarterback by far, but in terms of smarts, durability, only getting hurt once. The only other time he missed games was getting suspended. But, like, we don't got to talk about Deflategate, but
Deflategate.
yeah, didn't want to bring that up. It's kind of funny, but yeah, I would lean Belichick, to be honest with you, Josh.
Interesting. So perhaps the most captivating team in football, just storyline wise, over the last decade has been the Cleveland Browns. They find themselves in a playoff spot out of the wild card round, which is huge for them. Baker Mayfield's been a huge part of that. They managed to get there without Odell Beckham Jr. What do they have to do to beat the Chiefs? Matt, you there?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, that long pause actually is pretty good because I don't see them beating the Chiefs either. But I just think with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the backfield, you got to run the ball first down, second down. And the only thing about Baker is you saw it with Odell Beckham Jr. there before he got hurt. Baker kind of forces the ball downfield a lot. And, you can't do that against these Chiefs team. Like, you got to keep Mahomes off the field. So, like I said, first down, second down, you either run the ball, open up the play action, I would say. And if it's not there, Baker's got to be smart with it because you know Patrick Mahomes is. But just to predict the score, I'll go 31-17 for the Chiefs. It'll be a close game. I don't believe a blowout though. It'll be good.
All right, interesting. And just a note on that, I think the Browns can do it. I don't think it's a big chance for them, but the Chiefs the last couple of weeks have seemed a little inconsistent. And they kind of seem to be playing around. I think in the last week of the season, they kind of did that spinorama play where.
Oh yeah, you don't like that, eh, Josh?
No. Well, I fell on the side of you're prepping for a Super Bowl run and you're doing trick plays against a team where you're not hammer them into the ground. Don't treat these teams like a joke. So, I wouldn't be shocked if Cleveland won, but I am expecting the Chiefs to win this game. So we'll see what happens there. So my 4 teams coming out, we'll go around the round table here. So I'll take the Packers beating the Rams, Bills beating the Ravens, Chiefs beating the Browns, and I think the Bucks are going to beat the Saints. Brandon, how about you?
So I'm going off what I need. It's going to be the Packers versus the Bucks, right? That would be
no. I'll read you the games.
No, I know, but the winners of this week, that would be the next week's game, right? The Packers versus the Bucks next week.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh.
So I need the Packers and the Bucks to move on, and then it's going to be the Bills and the Chiefs.
Interesting. That'd be a good.
Bills,
I'm really hoping for a Bills Browns semifinal. I think that'd be really entertaining.
I'm along the same lines of what's going to happen. Like, what are you going to do to beat Mahomes right now?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Matt, your 4 picks.
Yeah, so we all have the same 4 picks. I just think take the Bucks, the Packers, and then the Bills and Kansas City. But yeah, I think a Buffalo-Cleveland matchup would be wild. I don't think fan base wise there'd be a better matchup. You got Cleveland fans doing God knows what. You got the Bills fans jumping into tables. That is the worst thing about the pandemic is they robbed the football community with that game. Like I don't know how many people get arrested, but the fans.
Well, we've been saying that since week 7, Brandon. It's just an absolute shame that stadium's not packed with Bills fans because they are the loudest fan base, most passionate fan base in football, and they can't even do what they do best at jumping through tables and drinking from 7 a.m. for an 8 p.m. start, right? So
I signed a petition, Josh. I signed a petition to get fans in.
You don't even live in Buffalo. I love that passion.
I still signed it though.
Member of the Bills Society.
Brandon and I were going to go to the wild card game, but we'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks when we got back. So,
holy fuck.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's a shame, but oh well. So your Super Bowl final matchup. What do you think? Go ahead, Matt. You start us off with that one.
I don't like to jump ahead too much, but I guess I'll do it. I want to see Mahomes and Brady. I think it would be a travesty if we never get the best quarterback of the last 20 years or most successful, it doesn't matter, against the guy who's going to lead the next generation. So I want Brady and Mahomes, but I think the Packers are going to take it, honestly. I think they're extremely underrated, and I know the Bucs kind of destroyed them. I think it was week 8 or 9. But I just think Aaron Rodgers, they'll be at home. You're going to Lambeau. Yeah, I see the Packers and Kansas City going to go play in Tampa this year, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, Brandon, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that Tampa Bay, and I'm just gonna say the Bills.
There you go. That would be That's an interesting final you got there. I like that one. Yeah,
I
I'm
need to
gonna
see it.
say I think
I'm
it's
a
gonna
believer this
be
year.
yeah. I'm gonna say Green Bay Buffalo. I think Buffalo's gonna hit a little bit of a hot streak here, and you can't really undermine the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. He's had an MVP caliber season. And I think he's gonna win MVP this year. I don't think it'll be Mahomes. Rodgers has
Be
been more
careful about Tom Brady coming through with the 6 rings, though. So
exactly, but I just think once you get down to the nitty gritty final four teams, it's gonna be talent will always prevail and not necessarily like its legacy. So we'll see on that one. Let's get to some hockey. We had a Leafs game on Wednesday night. They beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-4 in overtime. Scrappy game. Not the
come
best.
back from 3-1.
Yeah, not the best show of talent. And I'm a big part of hockey Twitter, Matt. I'm sure you read some of the tweets. Brandon, I send you all the ones that piss me off. I'll open up with this question, and either one of you can jump in with it. Is the Wayne Simmons fight the sole reason that the Leafs won that game, as many of the left side of hockey Twitter says? And Matt, by your face, I want to hear your answer.
You can't say it's the sole reason. Like, I just think it's kind of dumb. Like, this isn't boxing. You can't pinpoint one thing that just changed the thing. But for Wayne Simmons, I actually loved what he did. Like, Sherratt was giving it to everybody. He took runs at Matthews. I thought Matthews was going to beat him up later in that game, which I want to see Austin, Marner, and Nylander fight. Anyways, we don't have to get into that. But yeah, no, I think it was kind of a mix of everything. I like Simmons sticking up for himself and looking at the bench. That's kind of the intensity the Leafs didn't have the last few years. And if we're gonna go far in the playoffs, we need more of that. Just to be honest. Like, you saw Matthews getting in there, Nylander with the 2 goals. Like, but no, the people on Twitter are idiots. That's not the only reason. The Leafs are better than Montreal. They should win on a nightly basis. And I just feel like all these people tweet it just to like argue with each other. Like,
well, I'm sure we all know it's usually the guy with the profile picture where he's got a beard, sunglasses, and he's looking down at his camera, say, "Oh, Nylander's a softie. The only reason they won that game is because Simmons fought someone." Like, no, that's not. You were down 3-1 at the fight. Yeah, I'd probably switch momentum, but the reason that they won that game was the 2 power play goals, and they were able to tie it up before the end of the period. I tweeted, I said, I don't think you win that game if you go into the third period down by 1. So
Okay, I'm interested because I'm in an argumentative mood because I don't know, I don't disagree completely, but I want to mention that although Wayne Simmons fought and he got 2 clean shots. That's just very encouraging in like the first game fight. You know, sometimes it's just a grapple match with jerseys and pulling, and it's not very momentum swinging. But I want to highlight that he got some clean landers on there.
yeah,
And did you see him give the old booyah to the Leafs bench?
yep,
yeah, I did. That was good.
Right. So I think that sometimes what a fight does is it's an individual getting pissed off that he's not getting the playing time he wants, or he's just trying to send coach a message. But he's clearly trying to tell the boys that there's something going on in this game. And I'm glad that he didn't waste 5 games, 10 games to show us, the fan base, that he is a fighter. He kind of went in there right now. He kind of saw that it was 3-1 and he's like, oh shit, you know what? These Habs suck. We got to do something. What am I here for? My team, like Matt said, my team's getting beat up in front of the net. Guys are breaking sticks across each other's backs. Like Matthews is doing the same. And one Senator guy broke some sticks across the back. Like cross checks, that's a whole conversation. The cross checking in front of the net.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous.
I want to highlight that also Nylander completely controlled the game on his stick. So I'm really happy that he showed that. But I kind of, that's what we brought Wayne Simmons for. And then if you think back on it, I think in 2 weeks we'll say, oh yeah, that was the game Wayne Simmons showed us what he was about. And I'm glad. I mean, obviously sometimes it takes 5 games for the boys to believe that he's that type of player, but they answered.
Yeah. I just it annoys me when people rely on a fight so much. Like, I think back to the Stanley Cup, was it last year? No, the year before. It was Torrey Krug skated like the whole ice and drilled a Blues player. Do you remember that? I think it was Torrey Krug who did.
Oh, it was a huge. It was Torrey Krug on Robert Thomas.
Yes,
bucket off.
Exactly, and that swung that game. And it was a clean hit. I don't think he got penalized for it.
He got ruined.
Probably should have got a charging call because he started at his own goal line. But right, and it wasn't a fight, but it was a huge momentum changer. And so, you got all these big plays. The fight started that momentum change. Then you get 1 goal. Then you get another. Okay, we're going into this period tied at 3. What killed the momentum was Freddie Anderson letting in an absolute fucking softie on that fourth goal. He's got to tighten up a little bit there. But yes, the fight did contribute. Maybe they don't win that game if you don't get the fight, because it did draw a penalty, which led to a goal, and it also led to
I was going to say that it had a penalty on,
right,
and
then it led to that penalty led to a 5-on-3, which led to 2 goals being scored to tie the game. So yeah, it was a contribution, but you can't identify one thing as why they won that game.
Moving forward, I agree. Yes.
Right. So moving forward,
And also,
sorry, Matt, finish it up
Matt.
there.
Yeah, I'm just going to say we got to talk to Leaf fans, who's kind of the whole team. What happened in game 1 was good, but we have to address the fact that we're losing 3-1 to Montreal. And for the first 30 minutes of that game, they had more juice than us.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying seeing Leaf teams that should be better come out flat. And I don't think it would be like this the whole season. I know we had time off and stuff, but I just think you can't expect Wayne Simmons every game to fight and come back from 3-1. Because I just think once we do move on and then we play, I know it's a Canadian matchup, so we might not play that many better teams in Montreal, but just in general, like second game of a back-to-back, you can't always expect something like that to happen. And I just think these Leafs players, they just need to play better. Because, and also, just to kind of challenge, I'm not calling out Sheldon Keefe. I love him. I actually met him at a grocery store doesn't matter. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah, Sheldon Keefe, I just think he puts so much pressure on our big four. And I know that's why Babcock got fired, and that's what our fans were calling for. But I just think you put Matthews on the penalty kill. And I just challenge all of our listeners, you two, this game tonight and the game tomorrow, just look for the forwards that aren't named Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander. Because, I personally just think the whole surrounding core, in terms of a hockey perspective, isn't really carrying his weight. That's my opinion. So I just think, not that a bigger problem is going to come. I just think as an overall team, collectively, we have to stick up. And the one thing I'll give Montreal, I thought they were going to suck. I think I actually have a list right here, and I predict them to be second last in this division.
Yeah.
So I just want to give Montreal fans some credit, but Habs fans on Twitter have to calm down. What they have to understand is Nick Suzuki and Jasper Kotkaniemi, they're good players. I think they're good, but when you're going against Pedersen, Horvat, McDavid, Draisaitl, McJesus is disgusting, by the way. Last game was amazing. Matthews, Tavares, you just kind of need more. So if I was Montreal, kind of relax a bit. And, I hope we kill them the rest of the 9 times we played.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great rivalry. One more thing on the Leafs. Mitch Marner, I thought whenever he had the puck last game, it died on his stick. Is that just me, or should I be expecting more out of him for 11 million or 10 point now or whatever the fuck he's making?
You know what, Josh? I'll give you some advice. Honestly, I understand Leaf fans don't like the money. And it was the guy.
I don't care about the money. I care about the play. I always feel like.
No, but you always mention the money, so you do kind of care about the money in the back of your head.
Okay, but yeah, a little bit. But when I think of Matthews, I go, okay, 12 million, but he's going to get me at least 40 goals. Not maybe this season, but he's going to get me 40 goals in a regular season. I don't care about that. But I don't know. Just whenever I watch Marner, I get so frustrated because I've seen him put up 93 points, and I expect more out of him.
But I just think it's game 1. You know what I mean? And
it goes into last season too, and even in the bubble, I'm like, come on, dude. We need another game breaker here because if Matthews isn't going, Marner's your second guy. It's not Nylander.
Yeah, but I kind of look at it differently. I look at it more in a line perspective. So if it's Marner's plays with Matthews and Matthews is going, how do you not contribute that to Marner? You saw some of the passes they made a few nights ago. That was stupid. So I kind of look at it together, because when you look at our team, we have the 2 big center and the 2 big right wing, Nylander and Marner. So whatever line they're playing with, I'd kind of add them together. But enough with the Mitch Marner slander, Josh. I'm
not slandering him.
No, but what's a perfect Marner contract for you? I feel like everyone says, oh, too much. What do you think he honestly should be making if you fair?
Out of his contract negotiation, it probably would have been 9 to 9.5.
Okay, that's fair, but
comparable, whatever. What did Svechnikov get?
Svechnikov hasn't been signed yet.
I thought he had.
No, you thinking about Aho Rantanen?
Yes, Aho. Sorry, Aho. What did Aho get?
Aho got an offer sheet 5 years at 8.4. But what you have to realize there is
Marner should get 9.5 then, because he's slightly better than Aho.
Well, Aho's a center, so it's kind of hard to do.
But
I know what you're trying to say. My comparison to him is Mikko Rantanen, in my opinion. And what people forget, half of last year, Rantanen led the league in points.
Right.
And he kind of has similar good players that he plays with in McKinnon, Landeskog, the list goes on. And he got 6 years, 9.2. And Marner got 6 years at 10.6. And I don't think it's that big of a difference. So my perfect Marner contract would be 9.2. But I'd rather overpay on Marner than mediocre talent like a Kessler or Phaneuf, like our franchise has done.
Okay, that's going way back, but okay.
No, but it's relative. Like, I don't have a problem with us paying Mitch Marner. I have a problem with us paying Zaitsev, for example, whatever.
The worst Lou Lamoriello contract ever. All right,
I want to get your thought real quick before we leave on how long you think, both of you, how long do you think Joe Thornton lasts on that first line?
2 more games. Just 2 more games.
I think he'll last all year. I think he'll last all year on that line, but I don't think he'll play every game on that line, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but boys, I have a question.
No.
Just for like a coaching perspective, you saw Thornton start the line, but they were moving Hyman up there. They were just moving all types of people. So
he didn't play on the third period in that line.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just asking you two, like, we all played hockey, watch hockey. Do you think it's betterment to the team that much line shuffling? Because I personally think once you get into a playoff series, how can you start a game with someone on the first line and then do all this shuffling? Like, it doesn't work. Like, see all the teams that win the cup, they have lines. So
I kind of saw the sense to it because I think Sheldon Keefe was trying to get something going, and he started with Matthews, Marner, Thornton, but then he went right back pretty much a couple minutes into the game. He went back to Marner, Matthews, Hyman, who played together last year.
I'm just saying that's going to happen every game. So why start Thornton on the first line? Is it just because he's 41?
I want to get Thornton comfortable. I want to make him. I want to get him. Like, it's not that, like, sure, he's old and he can probably do. He's probably like right now he's like a wrench, right? I'll do anything you want, any tool you want me to fix. I'll be slotted in that position, but doesn't mean that you're gonna get the best production out of him. I think to get the best production, you got to slide him into a consistent role where he has a chemistry teammate, like a line mate that he talks to all the time.
I agree, but so. Saying that, what line would you put him in if you guys were the coach? Like third line, fourth line, center?
He's so slow, but he's not talented enough to be with Matthews and Marner. So I want to see him with like Robertson and one other guy.
Okay, but that's the thing with Joe Thornton, right? He's always been known to slow down the game and look for that pass. He's never been known for his foot speed.
Yeah, right,
but
let me say that I think his talent's gone down to be competitive enough. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Now, Matt, you say.
Yeah. So I just think, like Josh said, he slows the game and he looks for a pass. But if that's your whole fucking sorry, wait, can I swear?
Yes.
Oh, I'm good. Okay, yeah. If that's your whole process of slowing down the game, why on earth would you put him with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews? They don't slow the game down. They're amazing. They go 100 miles per hour. Point. So I agree with Brandon. Put him with Robertson, maybe Mikheyev, Hyman. Get it to more of a checking role where you can play that slow structure game.
Right. Yeah, I get that. If you were to make changes for the lineup tonight, we know the lineup isn't changing tonight. The only change that we know for tomorrow night, the Saturday night game, is that Jack Campbell is going to start. So
I need to see Robertson slotted up.
Yes, so that's what I was going to say. I would take Barbanoff off, put in Robertson, or Robinson, or whatever the hell you say it, and then I am taking Bogosian and stapling him to the press box, and then letting Mikko Lehtinen come in.
You don't think that Sandin or the other Swedish defenseman deserve a spot?
Lindgren? Yeah. Well, Lindgren's not even on the taxi squad.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I think that he was a high draft pick. So where is he at? Is he playing back in Sweden for the year for safety?
No, he's in the minors right now.
Yeah, he'll just be playing with the Marlies. But I mean, maybe Sandin. I think that Lehtinen's the better talent though, because he won KHL Defenseman of the Year. So
yeah.
I'd like to see him play. Like, the only time we've seen him play on NHL ice with NHL talent is in a.
Bogosian was a pylon, man.
With 2 holding calls. How are you getting a holding call? Use your stick.
Yeah, he's playing like an old man out there.
So for this transition, if you have Bogosian out there and Connor McDavid comes down the wing, he's taking a penalty or a goal is being scored. So Matt said earlier, Connor McDavid went God mode last night after on his birthday putting up donuts across the board. Matt, what is McDavid going to do this year? Is he going to tear up this Canadian division?
From a scoring perspective, I'll say, yeah. I don't know if it will always translate to wins. And one thing I noticed watching that game is Vancouver looked tired, tired. And with the compressed schedule, playing McDavid on a back-to-back when you shut him down game 1, Like, that's not a recipe for success.
No.
So I think playing a player that good in a back-to-back, he's bound to get a lot. But in terms of Edmonton going far, I think you're going to have to see a lot more out of Puljujärvi. Puljujärvi, Koskinen, Ethan Bear. I think it's more of those guys than it is McDavid and Draisaitl. But I think McDavid will win the Hart again, probably.
Right. So you mentioned, and I got a stat here, that the Oilers need more than just from their top players, right? They need more from their
100%.
depth. So they had 5 goals last night. They won. Put up 5 goals, but only 4 players had points.
Yeah.
So that's where you can see that, if
Who was
McDavid
it? Yamamoto, Draisaitl, McDavid,
and Nugent Hopkins.
right? Like, think about it. Yamamoto is dependent on to be like this. I'll say him like a Walmart Mitch Marner. He's got that type of size, skill, hands, and speed. That's where I would say right now. But for him to, contract wise, nothing to do with the money, just skill set only and potential, sure. But like guys like Puljujärvi and Yamamoto, you have to look for them to have a breakout season, because it's literally, I think that this is the Canadian Tire division, because it's almost like the Timbit division. Like, these teams can get run apart and the scores will be like 5-5, 6-5. I think it's going to be a super high scoring year.
Yeah, for sure. This
You
is
need
definitely
that secondary scoring is what I'm trying to say.
And the defense needs to show up too for all these teams. I don't think Edmonton's defense is there. Like, we need more out of Darnell Nurse. We need more out of everybody on that blue line, right? I don't know, but we'll see where Edmonton goes. Vancouver, what are we liking from them? What are we not liking from them? Because they started with a good game, and then they had a not so good game. What do you think about them, Matt?
Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
So Vancouver's kind of tricky. Like, I think any team with that much roster turnover, there's going to be kind of like a lapse. But in terms of long run, when you have guys like Pedersen, Hughes, Besser, JT Miller, Horvat, you're going to be a good team. And I think they'll be good. It's just, for me, I just think they got to tighten up defensively, man. Like, I just think when you play against Connor McDavid, and this isn't just this year because they're in the same division, they're playing the next 20 years, you have to have some type of, not shutting him down. You can't shut down McDavid, but they need to limit his chances better. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, I think the only reason they kind of beat St. Louis and did so good last year is they played teams without actual good scoring threats. Like, as good as O'Reilly was, Tarasenko was banged up, so he couldn't really do anything. I just think this Vancouver team, they can't guard or cover anybody. So I don't see them going far because of that reason. I think Demko and Holtby would have to stand on their head like Demko did last year.
Right. And I don't know if you want to fall back on Demko if Holtby doesn't show up. I don't know about that one. Let's go over to Calgary. They played well last night. I didn't expect too much from them, but they did have a couple great plays. Who did they play? They played Winnipeg. And Winnipeg wins that game in overtime. Jacob Markstrom with already the save of the year. So I don't know if you saw it, sliding across that crease, grabbing that puck out of midair. Let's talk about that game in general, because your boy, Brandon, Patrick Laine, kind of showed up and showed us he's here to compete. Almost had that.
Let me start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Laine, I think he was interviewed saying that he was actually pissed off he didn't get the full Gordie Howe hat trick. But you can see in the way he presents, I don't know if it's just now, but lately, obviously, the way you see him present himself in the interviews and media, he's very short answered. And he's kind of funny without trying to be too funny, because he doesn't have much of a personality. So I like the fact that he's going out there and playing hard. And I like the fact that people mention his goal scoring as his best ability, but if you saw the assist on the power play goal last night, I can't stress enough that he can do more than score. And he's trying to fight. I think he's trying to just to prove he's a little bit, I think maybe, I don't know if I said this earlier, but it's a contract year. It's a trade year. It's something that where his results, it's going to alter, or it's going to make the money that he makes in the next 4 to 5 years. So like, this is the year he has to show out, because, his first year was great. His second year was inconsistent. And this is where it's become.
Right. Matt, what do you think about Patrick Laine? Is he going to stay a Jet?
Yeah, I think Laine, he's kind of inconsistent, like Brandon said, like one good year, one bad year. But I think his playmaking kind of is underrated. Like, a lot of people, I think in Winnipeg especially, are just kind of upset because, remember, it was Laine versus Matthews. Like, I know right now that sounds crazy, but that was a thing, 2016. I was actually at that draft, and there were Leaf fans that wanted Laine. Like, look how crazy that – no, it happened, though. Like, I
remember.
When you look at the whole thing, I don't want to say he's underperformed, but I just think you kind of want more out of him, and I don't see Winnipeg or Laine committing long-term to a contract. So I just want to see where he goes. Like, I'm all for this Laine Dubois swap. What do you boys think?
You know what's interesting, Josh? Before you say something, because I didn't send you this, but I was gonna take a screenshot of it. On TSN, they were talking about why teams are contacting about Barkov, and
Yeah,
think
another one.
And I think that not that Laine and Barkov could ever be mixed for a trade for each other, but they're both Finns. And you wonder if that Finnish connection always goes around to where they want to team up one day. And
NBA.
I want to know, yeah, what do you have to say, Josh?
Uh,
Or Matt?
I don't know. That's a weird deal.
No, I fucking
It's
love
not,
it, Brandon.
not even,
That's
not
good
even the
thinking.
deal that I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
great
trying to.
thinking.
I'm trying to think of a deal, but I don't know if there would be for one where you could get Barkov. I don't know. That's a good point.
You know what I would do?
That.
I personally, I love the Finnish connection because Florida at 12th overall actually picked a kid, Antoine Lundell from Finland, who's a centerman.
Yeah. Yes, that could be 3. Oh,
exactly. And I personally thought they did that to keep Barkov, but I just think if Florida doesn't get winning, I think it's hard for Barkov to stay. But if I'm Barkov, I'm signing that extension, and I'm like, people have to say it's Florida. Like Bobrovsky, when they get every free agent they want, like people want to play there. I know there's not a lot of fans. So I think that's a perfect place to build a super team. Like, Josh, tweet that. That's a hashtag, Florida Super Team 2022.
I'm not
with Laine, the Finnish connection. Let's start with the Finnish connection as the highlight. And I think the next part is to mention how we get Laine. And I think, what does that mean? Do we give up Huberdeau? Who do we have to go down the Florida Panthers list to get Laine?
It starts with Huberdeau, and maybe one of their goalies.
I think if I'm Florida looking at this Laine situation, knowing I have to win now, I have Quenneville who's going to freak out. Like, I would put a package together, but I think Winnipeg, I think for Laine, they wanted a second line center and a top 4D. So,
wow.
I don't think Florida has anything to give in that perspective. Like, maybe Yandel, but I don't, first of all, bless Winnipeg. The fans are annoying, but I understand they're passionate. There's no way Keith Yandel is waiving his no move clause to go to Florida to Winnipeg. That's not happening, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their roster here.
They can't make a deal right now.
Maybe it'd probably be Huberdeau and then Anton Strollman. Like, would that be enough?
I wouldn't do that if I was Winnipeg. I think the problem with Winnipeg, I don't care what anyone says, but no one really wants to go there. That's just kind of a fact. Like, you hear Spin Chicklets joke about that. Like, no one wants to go to Winnipeg. So I think they build internally so much that, like, everybody, like Scheifele, Ehlers, Connor, they're all homegrown, that there's just too many people you could argue up front. Like, Jack Roslovic asked for a trade. So I just think if you're Winnipeg, you finally have to be aggressive and say, you know what? I'll trade my Laine, Roslovic for the last 2 years of Huberdeau and just say fuck it and go for a cup. Kind of like Columbus did. So if I'm Winnipeg, I'll definitely get aggressive, get another D. But super team in Florida would be cool with the Finns. Finns, Florida.
Very cool. I like that. I like that we made this. I've never had that theory until now. So let's stick that as the
Do you
super
think
team 2022.
One last
thought.
One last thought on this. The Panthers have 2 superstar prospect goalies in Spencer Knight and Devin Levi. Do you think if you throw that in, you might be able to get Laine out of Winnipeg?
No, they have Connor Hellebuyck. I don't think they need a goalie.
Well, you always need a goalie.
A promising backup is a great situation.
Yeah. Well, in terms of value, I wouldn't trade a 50-goal scorer for my backup goalie.
No, not straight up. You'd have to throw in other pieces, obviously, but it's a nice little addition.
I guess, but I don't see that deal happening. I think we're thinking about stuff that will happen 2 years from now.
Yeah. All right, the Flames. What do you think of the Flames?
I don't know. They're a tricky team. Like, I heard other people say on Twitter that they kind of lack identity. And I think they try to be like a tough, gritty team. But when your best offensive player is Johnny Gaudreau, I don't think you can be a tough, gritty team.
No. I mean, they got Tkachuk in there, and I don't know, but
one guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
kind of a mess.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to make the play. I think I had Brandon. Did I have them in the playoffs? Actually, I got it right here. Yeah, I did have them making the playoffs, but be interesting to see how they play. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting with them. I want to get your thoughts on the Ottawa Senators as the Leafs play them in a back-to-back starting tonight. I think they're going to be a fun team. I think they're going to take some points away from everybody, and those are going to be valuable because all the points this year stay within the division. Ottawa Senators, what can we expect out of them this year? And will our old boy Timothy win the Calder Trophy?
I love Tim Stützle. I don't know if he'll win the Calder, just in terms like you saw Kaprizov go off last night. Lafreniere probably catch stride. Like I think there's other guys for the Calder, but in terms of being like a centerpiece for Ottawa, Stützle's a stud. Like I honestly didn't think he was that good. Well, I knew he was good, but I didn't think he'd be like this. In my draft ranking, I had him third, like where he went, and I had Byfield in front of him. But like if I redid it, Stützle's definitely better than Byfield. And I think Ottawa has a stud. I'd think Eugene Melnyk has to shut up so he doesn't leave in like 4 years.
Yeah.
Like treat this guy how the Clippers treat Kawhi. Like you get him anything he wants. Like I saw he was living with Tkachuk and Norris, and I think that's perfect. I think that's actually like 3 of their top 6. So yeah, I think Ottawa would surprise this year. They definitely take some wins away, and Stützle's a good core member for their rebuild.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch the Senators play. They are going to win some games, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't finish last. So it's going to be a fun team to watch for sure. I'm really
Well, who
excited.
would finish last then?
I don't know, man. It's such a close division. Like Calgary could slip off. Like all Montreal has to do. If you lose 7, like if you go 7, on a 7-game skid where you go 5-2 or 6-1, that could be your season right there, right? And every game you can look at as a 4-point game because there's just going to be separation. You're playing the same teams almost once every 2 weeks. The points are staying in the division. It's going to be really easy to fall off. It could happen to any team, right? Like you go on a 20-game skid where you go 7-13. That's probably your season right there. So we'll see what happens with these teams. Matt, I need your Stanley Cup final prediction.
It's early to do that, but
I don't care.
I'll go. See, I think it's so easy to pick Tampa, Vegas, or Tampa, Colorado, or just like kind of. But I'll give you a little bit of a dark horse here. I'll go Carolina. Vegas, just to mix it up. But I have no idea.
Interesting. So we're going to wrap up with you in the hockey talk. I do have one question for you, though, and Brandon's going to hate me, but I know you're going to make it funny. In 2 sentences, I want you to describe the whole James Harden situation.
It doesn't have to be 2 sentences.
James Harden is a fucking legend, and he got what he wanted. He gained 80 pounds. He broke COVID protocols. He did all this crazy stuff, but he got what he wanted. Therefore, he won.
That's a great take. I think that was going to segue great into what we have to talk to later. But, Matt, I was blown away by not only the way you present yourself, your voice, but your knowledge and your experience with analyzing sports depth. And you got your notes beside you. So I'm really happy. And I'd love to have you back on. That was great. And we can update our predictions as the year goes on.
Yep. Thanks, boys.
Yeah, Matt, this was a good audition for you. All right, Matt, I'll let you know when it's up.
Yeah. See ya. Have a good one, guys.
You too.